Hey everyone, my name's Amani Simpson. I'm the founder and CEO of Aviard Inspires, a social enterprise in North London, Enfield. Today is going to be a quick introduction into myself, my story, what I think about youth violence. I hope it can go around the world and start to make an impact alongside all the other people that is doing amazing work. So big up those that have come before me, who are, trailblazers in this industry. I look to you and I look to connect and see how we can link up and just grow this. So my name's Amani. I'm 28. 7 years ago, I got stabbed 7 times in one go. I ended up running my mouth to the wrong person in a situation that was basically a robbery that had gone wrong, and ended up getting stabbed. So now I live to share my story. I've created a short film that comes out at the start of 2019, shall I say. It stars Javan Wade from Shiro's Story and The First Purge. It's also going to be available in schools and in the community and prisons and churches. Is going to be available just for the community to use and to have workshops and breakout sessions with young people to really start discussing some of the themes like identity, also things like peer pressure, things like going to county lines, aspirations, all these things that that are affecting some of the young boys and girls that are in this generation. So yeah, it's going to come out. Check out aviard.co.uk for all the information. So firstly, as I mentioned, I got stabbed. Got stabbed at 21. Kind of came to this point where my life was just upside down overnight. All the aspirations I had as a young man, things of having a successful business, having a career in entertainment. I didn't. Yeah, I just didn't have it anymore overnight. I just kind of got to this place where everything I was doing got pulled away, and so it's something that you can never anticipate. You can never plan for, shall I say? And it was something that took me a long time to get over. Losing the original concept of what your life is will throw you around. But luckily for me, I found faith in that ambulance, had a conversation with God, and really just rebuilt myself up. And essentially, I just got to this place where I was working in another industry. I was working in the property industry as a letting agent. Just really just had a great go at it. Got to a point where I had a business on the high street, had quite a few clients that were contacting me, but I guess it's not my calling. I really feel driven to be working with young people at this stage, trying to combat the rise in youth violence and stuff like that. And I think that I was saved for a reason. You don't just get stabbed 7 times and live for no reason. So I'm just trying to make sure that I can leave a positive legacy, be a positive influence, but enjoy life at the same time. It's I'm still young, so I can understand where some of these young people are coming from. Some of their aspirations and some of the things that they're looking at now are false. Yeah, there's no foundations in some of them. To be a drug dealer, yes, in your area, it can look very appealing, but there's a lot of threats that come alongside that. You've got the police aspect, you've got the enemy aspect, you've got the stress of having to work like that. I think it's important that some of these young people are put into environments where they can use those skills to build other viable businesses by business owners who know how to set up businesses. It's something that I believe young people that are kind of attracted to that flashy money lifestyle, if they can link with people that are doing it already and be structured and be organized and have aspirations, some of them will be able to move. Obviously there's some that that are so far gone, in my opinion, that it's going to take a situation like what happened to me, or you know, prison or something like that, unfortunately, for them to really self-reflect. But the ones that are not really kind of as bad as that, you're or kind of going as far along that line as that, you know, I believe that they can really be influenced by someone like myself, or you know, someone who has another story, maybe someone that has a bit more kind of in tune knowledge of going to the nth level of that game, you know. So yeah, for me, I think it's something that we as leaders need to look at. You know, how can we engage the next generation with the things that we know, and it's for those around these young people to find ways for these people to come in as well. So yeah, you know, I think that there's definitely ways now where we can link together the different ideas that are going on in the community. There's a lot of people, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, who are already doing amazing things in the community, already doing things that allow different entities to come in and impact these young people's lives, whether that be sport, whether that be music, whether that be mentoring, whether that be early intervention work, whatever it may be. You know, it's adding things like business and academia and, you know, self-development and stuff like that. You know, we can really build a positive energy around these young people. You know, a really positive thing for them to, you know, start to counteract, just safe environments for them to go to where they can be children again, you know, after kind of being stabbed or seeing a friend stabbed, for example. You can really be hit with trauma. And I think that especially in the black community, we don't really think about the trauma that these young people are suffering. You know, I had post-traumatic stress, but there's many people that have seen someone die, their best friend, or they've experienced that, and that has a knock-on effect. I remember reading something yesterday, and it said, you know, it wasn't, oh no, it was United Borders. I think his name's Justin, forgive me if it's yesterday not. Put a post on Instagram where he said he was filming with some victims of people who had lost their kids, and he mentioned that the dad, I believe, had said that when someone kills their son, it impacts the whole family, or words to that effect. And you know, I think when we look at the trauma that these families and these communities are experiencing, you know, how many of those boys that died last year were young black boys? You know, especially seeing that growing up in inner city London, where we're trying to make something of ourselves and we're not sure of, you know, some of the challenges that are going on around us, or that are going to face us ahead. And then suddenly you hear that someone that looks like you is being killed. What do you think that does to your momentum? You know, that even if you don't know the young man, you know, it can give you an element of fear. That's why I believe we get in so many different, you know, young people walking around with knives and thinking it is culture. On top of that, we've also got the music, which is very violent. I'm not saying that, you know, that's the sole reason, but a lot of the things that they listen to are very, very violent. And, you know, I don't believe that it's good for them as young people that are growing, that are moulding their minds as they're growing up, to be listening to such violent music every single day. I think it's definitely having an effect on their mind. And I would definitely encourage anyone that's listening, that listens to violent music on a regular basis, to really kind of tone down the level that you listen to it, you know, and how often you listen to it. Because I guess, as someone said to me, you wouldn't listen to music about child abuse on a regular basis because you know it's not good. Whereas violence, you would never ever wish that on anyone else. So why do we listen and indulge in that every single day? So yeah, I mean, I definitely believe we can change these outcomes for young people. I'm definitely optimistic. There's a lot of great things happening, as I mentioned before. A lot of conversations that I believe are overdue, and our community of, you know, black and ethnic minorities, and you know, even those that aren't necessarily from the community. So some of the middle class kind of families and people that are in kind of positions of leadership within their company, these guys are starting to feel like something is going wrong. And so, you know, I'm not saying that everything is going to be amazing when we try and come together. There's going to be a few things that, you know, don't necessarily work. but essentially as a community, you know, as society, we're starting to speak about why are young people killing each other every single day. That has to be a problem that affects all of us. It can't just be one isolated incident. You know, I really do believe that things like the public health approach, where we start to look at the causes of these things and start to look at things as an illness. You know, knives and guns don't kill people, mindsets do. And environments, you know, really have a part to play in that. So, you know, I think we need to look at some of the environments these young people are being brought up in, and really try and do something about, you know, helping them, advancing them, you know, allowing them to thrive as much as possible from an early age, because they've already got factors against them that are going to stop them from winning. You know, they already walk out of their door and see environments that aren't uplifting, and hear music that isn't, you know, progressive, and, you know, have conversations with people that aren't necessarily going anywhere. So, you know, we really need to go back in and encourage them as those that have seen it on the other side, and is able to go back and really give great guidance and opinions to these young people. But yeah, I mean, for me, that's what I'm aiming to do with this film. You know, I think this is just the vehicle for a wider conversation, I hope. Something that will go on for generations, and we'll keep adapting, and, you know, we'll keep trying to find solutions and finding different ways to engage with young people as they come up, adapting to different problems. You know, and I think that when you speak in these schools to these young people, they're going to see something different. A lot of these stories that they read, you know, things like Shiro's story, which amassed 13 million views online, you know, it was a great piece of entertainment, but, you know, from a I guess a progressive perspective, it wasn't something you could take into a classroom. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't built for that. And maybe the story wasn't as kind of inspirational in that sense. But, you know, this is why you have to have options. You have to look at the best way for young people to engage. You know, schools are set up in a systematic way where not everyone is going to succeed. You know, some people are going to fall a little bit short. And so we have to find different ways, especially with the new age of young people coming up. We need to find different ways to engage with them, whether that be in a more practical way or an audio visual way. You know, everyone learns differently. So I definitely believe that when we go into schools, the message has to be engaging. It can't just be something that sounds like it's coming from an authoritarian perspective. It has to come from someone that's authentically lived that lifestyle, that can come with experience, and really give young people a positive direction and a positive boost in the right direction, shall I say. And yeah, Aviard is definitely the vehicle for that. There's many things that we're doing at the moment. We have some business courses that we're doing in colleges around a talent showcase called Aviard Live, which we hope to do quite well over the next 5 years. That's really going to, you know, kind of take it to another level. Also looking at ways that we can work with the local community as well. So local councils, shall I say. So speaking to places like Enfield at the moment, which is my home borough, really trying to see where we can move some of these projects forward. So it would be great to know if there's anyone out there that will hear this, that will kind of believe that their area or their borough or their school will be in need of a story like myself. You know, when the film comes out, a story like myself, a story like mine. You know, after you've been talking for X amount of minutes, you start to get a bit tongue-tied. But yeah, I ask all the people watching, if you believe that this story could be something that would work in your school, your church, your prison, your youth club, whatever the case may be, just get in touch. You know, I'm definitely open to trying to find ways of engaging more and more young people going into 2019, going into 2020 and beyond. And I guess my message to young people is to follow their dreams. And it might sound cliche, but I started school playing the violin in year 7. You know, I was a very individual young man, and I ended up becoming like everyone else to try and fit in, and it didn't do me well. I ended up getting expelled out of 2 schools, and, you know, it's not something that we can take for granted. You know, small things repeated over time have a massive effect on our life. It's the compound effect. And I believe we need to be really careful with how we nurture young people at that age, that transition from primary school to secondary school, and allow them to be individuals. So yeah, as I said, if that's what I'd encourage you to do, just to follow your dreams, forget what everyone else is saying that's going to steer you off the path that you're meant to be going. Just continue doing what you're doing, and yeah, you know, link with people that are trying to help you. You know, there's a lot of people out there that can give you other options away from some of these negative environments. So just search for them. It might feel uncomfortable initially, but if you really want to turn your life around and really want to have something positive to do on a regular basis, then you're going to have to make some sacrifices and move towards things that might feel a little bit uneasy initially. But, you know, there's great benefits at the end, and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is very, very important. So yeah. You know, oh, eyelash. But yeah, guys, you know, I hope I've been, insightful to you guys, and you know, you guys have been able to take something out of it. There's a lot of different themes in my story, so I try not to sit on one necessarily when I'm trying to give a summary. But you know, I'm more than happy to look into things like, as I said, like the identity, the peers, the peers and the peer pressure, shall I say, and then the choices and stuff like that. But most importantly, I'm just here to empower young people, to give them the tools that they need to make great decisions to grow up. You know, because life is hard enough as it is, and I don't believe that school always prepares us in the right way for those difficulties. So I'm looking to work with more people that understand that and have a vision for allowing young people to thrive. So that, you know, no matter what happens tomorrow, we leave it in a better place than we had the world and, you know, the city that we live in. So yeah, I think that's everything. I hope that's been helpful. And yeah, as I said, you can follow my journey on Instagram under Mans_inspires. I'm sure they'll have it somewhere down there. You can link with me on Twitter, Aviard _inspires. AVIARD_inspires with an S. Yeah. I hope that we can connect, and I hope it's the start of a great journey for our nation. You know, that we start to see a reduction in youth crime, and more videos like this happen, more and more platforms, you know, create opportunities for people like myself and other stories to come forward. Yeah, the more we do this, the more we talk about the situation and the solutions, is the quicker we'll find a cure for this issue that we're having right now in our community and with our young people's minds. So yeah, God bless, and hope to hear from you guys soon.